welcome. Glad you're here today. I'm Phyllis. I'm in Tennessee, lovely state of Tennessee. Today I'm going to be making a Pina Colada cake, and I hope you will join me. It's such a nice, easy, cold cake that we're going to be making. It's one of our sweet summer series. You know, summer is still on us. We had a little cooler temperatures today, which was great. I think it was in the 68 this morning when I got up with hardly any humidity. Just been wonderful outside on my porch. But today we're going to make a Pina Colada cake. I hope you'll join me. What I need you to do, I'm not going to make you wait while I do this part, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take yellow cake mix, going to make it quick, and I'm going to make a yellow cake. And when it comes out, I'll show you how we're going to fix it up and make it into the most delicious cake for your family, your kids, your grandkids. And you can, if you want to, where your yellow cake mix calls for water, a cup of water to be added to your cake mix. If no children are going to eat the recipe and you want to, you can put Pina Colada rum in the cake. Some people do that, some people don't. It's your choice, you know. You do you and I'll do me. So if you want to put Pina Colada rum in your cake, you can do that. So let's get baking our yellow cake mix. So here I'm going to turn you up where you can see what I've got in my bowl. I'm going to mix up the yellow cake mix, 4 eggs, because my eggs are little chicken eggs and they're tiny. So I put 4 eggs. It only calls for 3, and it calls for a cup of water. It calls for a cup of oil. I don't use a cup of oil. I'm sorry, half a cup of oil. It calls for a half a cup of oil, but I don't do the half a cup of oil. I do a half a cup of applesauce, just because I love applesauce, and you can substitute. You can also substitute for your eggs. If you don't have any eggs, you can just use yogurt. Half a cup to a whole cup of yogurt. If you don't want to use eggs, or if you're allergic to eggs and you need to substitute, you can always substitute for things. So you can get your hand mixer out. You can get your other mixer, your stand mixers out, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to be honest with you, I do this a lot. I used to use a mixer all the time. Now I feel like I need to incorporate as much exercise as I can. So I do this by hand, just because I like to. And we're just going to beat it up. And once we get all of our ingredients together, I have taken Baker's Joy, which is one of my favorite. They do not sponsor me, but I love Baker's Joy spray. You know, I tell you I don't use it, but I found out I really like this, so I've started using Baker's Joy for spraying my pan when I'm going to cook. I'm going to beat this up a little more. I'm going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees, 30 minutes. It says you only really have to beat this like 50 strokes, but I like to get a little exercise here, a little movement, get my arm flat. I got a lot of flab on my arms I'm trying to move, and it wears me out. But I go ahead and I do it anyway. I wanted to show you what I did this morning. I only had the chunks, pineapple chunks. So what I did was I got my little, let me turn you up here. I got my little machine out, and I got it out. And what I did was, I needed crushed for the recipe. So what I did was, I just got my little thing out. What's it called? I don't know. And it just grinds everything up so good. And I just made crushed pineapple out of my chunks. So just use what you've got on hand. And this worked out great. So I'll show you the rest of this part of the cake later. But I went ahead and ground up my chunks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this in the pan so we can get it in the oven and get it baking. All right, I've already sprayed my pan. pouring it in. I have this little thingamadoogie that I don't know where I got this, but I love it for getting all of your ingredients out into your pan. Scrape it out. I've got my oven preheated, 350 degrees. I like to have it ready, ready to put this in. I just smooth it to the corners so that it bakes pretty evenly. When I take this out of the oven, I'll bring you guys back and I'll show you what we're gonna do. A lot of times, I drop this cake mix on a surface that's non-breakable, not the top of my glass stove, but on my countertop. I drop it to let the bubbles and the air come out. 3 or 4 times is good, but if I think 3 or 4 times is good, 5 or 6 is even better. Going in the oven and I'll be back. All right, guys, while we wait for this cake to bake, of course I'm gonna be drinking coffee. Isn't this a beautiful cup? I guess I've got coffee dripping out of it. Isn't this a beautiful cup? It's just so happy. All right, while the cake's baking, we're gonna do some other things. Now I'm gonna turn you down, bring you up here where you can see what's going on. This cake is gonna remind you of another cake, and you're gonna say, this seems a whole lot like our other cake that we had. And I'm gonna say, yeah, it kind of does. But I want you to put in the comment section what is different about this than our other cake. Just tell me what is different about it. Now, in this container right here, I have put all the juice that came out of the pineapple chunks that I put in my wonderful, it's called a food chopper. Somebody texted me and said, it's a food chopper, Phyllis. I said, well, I didn't know what it was called, but now I do. All the juice out of this in this container. And of course, you know, sweetened condensed milk in here with the pineapple juice. And sweetened condensed coconut milk in here. Does this reminding you of another video we did about the tres leche cake? Put all that in here. Mix it all up. Just mix it and mix it and mix it and mix it. Make sure there are no lumps in there. And guess what we're going to do with it? I think if you've been watching my videos, you already know. Now we put the pineapple juice, we put the condensed milk, and the coconut milk. So what's different about this than the tres leche? We put 3 milks in the tres leche cake, and we put 2 milks in something else. So there's one ingredient that's going to be a little different in this cake. Yes, we're going to poke holes with my chopsticks if I can find them. And yeah, trusty chopsticker. So we're going to poke holes when the cake comes out. We're going to be ready. We're not waiting around. We're going to be ready. We're going to be ready to pour this over after we punch our holes in. And we're going to pour this over our cake. Now, once we pour that over our cake, we are going to take our pineapple. And we're going to put this pineapple on top of the cake. And let all this kind of wet, because maybe I didn't get all the juice out. There's no way to get all the juice out, but I got most of it. We're going to pour that over the cake. And once the cake cools, I'll show you what we're going to put on it then. It's going to be so yummy. This is a refrigerated cake. You need to refrigerate it at least 2 hours before you serve it, because you want to serve it really good and cold, because people are hot. Even though we've had a break in the temp, people are still hot. It's still summertime. Put it in the fridge 2 hours, leave it overnight. It'll stay up to 3 days. You can keep it for 3 days in your fridge, but I'm going to tell you, you won't have any left after 3 days. It's that good. It soaks up, the cake soaks up all of that juice, like they did in the old days when they had old biscuits and they had to eat them some way, and they would just use whatever they could find to make a little wet mix to sop it up with those hard day-old bread that they had, or old biscuits that they found. They would just make something with butter and sugar and milk, and that's basically what we've done today. It's what they used to do years ago. So we're going to pour this over the cake. Now, after it cools and I put the other ingredients on it, I think you'll be surprised to see that it's a little different than the tres leche cake. We're waiting on the cake. I think I'm going to go do some laundry. I would take you with me, but yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I wish you were here to help me do my laundry when I get it done and you could help me fold it. But the cake should be out in just a little bit. Okay, guys, I got the cake out and I'm going to show it to you. Got baked, and we're fixing to, I've finished putting the little holes in the cake. I punched the holes in, you know, with my chopstick. I punched the holes in the cake, and we've got our mix blended up to put on it. The cake is still warm. Not hot, but warm. Got my blend mixed up, and I'm going to pour it over the cake. Let me turn you down so you can see what I'm doing. I forget you're not right here with me. All right. Wish you were. Got a little break in the temperatures outside, and so when I get this done, I'm going to go sit on the porch a little bit and have a cup of coffee and just kind of cool off a little bit. Now, yeah, this looks like a lot, but the cake's just like a sponge, like I tell you every time. This cake is just like a sponge. It's going to soak it all up. And it's going to be some ooey gooey goodness. It's going to have a real fruity, good, cool, cold taste. Get every little drip out. All right, and now our pineapple that I told you that I mixed up in the little food chopper. I didn't know what it was, but it's a food chopper, and I like that little thing. It's a GE Deluxe food chopper, but it chopped those chunks up just amazing. I'll take a spoon, and I'll take the pineapple out. I'll just put it on the cake, on top of the cake. I mean, isn't pineapple good for you? I think it is. This is going to have so many flavors in it. It's really good cold cake. Just kind of smooth it out. Doesn't have to be an exact science. It's just a cake. And people are going to eat it. Now, you say, oh, well, it doesn't look very pretty. Well, when it gets completely cool, we're going to add something else to it. We're just going to keep on going with this cake. We're just going to keep on putting on stuff on it. And you know, you can put anything you want on it, I guess. Any tropical fruit you want to put on it. Get you one of these food choppers and just chop it up. I love this little food chopper. I don't know how I could be without one. And I just called it a thingamajig because I didn't know what it was. But now, thanks to you guys, I know it's a food chopper. Now, this cake is going to sit here and cool. I'm not going to put it in the fridge. I'm just going to let it cool like it is. The pan's still a little warm. Just going to let it sit here on the stove in my air-conditioned house. Just let it cool off. And then we'll do our next step. Won't that be fun to do the next step? Okay, we're ready to ice the cake. So here we go. You know I'm going to use Cool Whip. You can make whipped cream if you want to. I just like to do the Cool Whip. Easy peasy on the cake. The cake is cooled off, so now I'm going to put the Cool Whip on it. I'm going to pull you down here where you can see what I'm doing. You know, we put everything in the world on this cake, but now we're going to put some more good stuff on here. We're going to add some Cool Whip. So I'm going to turn you down where you can see what's going on. Okay. Gonna put the Cool Whip on. And that's just so easy. And it's so good. You know, you can get, if you need to, you can get the fat-free Cool Whip. If you need to. You know, for your health reasons or whatever. Now we're just going to smooth this Cool Whip out over the top of the cake. Covering up the cake as much as you can so that it doesn't show through. And this, like I told you, is a refrigerated cake. If you're just tuning in and you just started the video and you started in the middle, need to back up and go back to the front. The first of the video. Now I just make a little ruffles across the top just by raising my spoon up and down like that. I hope you all can see it, what I'm doing. Hope you can see the cake. Now, you see what I've got? Just good old Cool Whip on here. All right, now that we've got the Cool Whip all in there, look at that mess I made. The next thing I'm gonna do is take some coconut, sweetened coconut, and I'm just gonna top it off. If your family doesn't like coconut, maybe you don't like coconut. If you don't have to put it on here. Leave it off. But I'm telling you what, I don't think anybody in my family is going to turn down any coconut. And that alarm you heard was my sweet potatoes in my microwave for supper. So I'm fixing to get those out. Just put your coconut all around there. This is such an easy recipe. You've watched and you know it's going to be easy. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment. If you have a comment about anything, anything that you could suggest to help me when I'm making my videos, you know, just put it in the comments. Or if you have suggestions about what we can put on this cake. You know, you could just keep going actually and put as much stuff as you want to. Now this was a 12-ounce bag of unsweetened cocoa. But of course, I'll show you guys how to buy unsweetened coconut and how to make it sweet. That way you can control the sweetness. Now the unsweetened coconut is coconut that you would probably use in a lot of other recipes where you're using vegetables that maybe you're making coconut shrimp or vegetables that require some coconut in there. And so this I make sweetened, and I can control the sweetness by how much sugar that I add to the unsweet coconut when I cook it to make it sweetened. And I'll do a video on that, show you guys how to do it. Okay guys, let's cut the cake and see what it looks like on the inside. Let me turn you down here where you can see the cake and we'll cut it. All right, let's cut a piece of it. Got to cut through all that coconut. Now, this has not been in the fridge yet, so there's probably going to be some good juice in the bottom. But can you see the bottom of the cake? Can you see the cake, how moist it already is with the little holes in it, how it's getting saturated? And it hasn't even been in the fridge yet. What do you think? Does it look yummy? Does it look good at all? Now, since there is some goodie in the bottom, let me bring you up a little bit where you can kind of see down in there. Make sure you can see down in the bottom. This is going to soak up tonight while it's all in the fridge tonight. This good yummy is going to soak in. You know I've got to taste it, right? I think it's better than the tres leche cake. Just saying. Well, I'm going to wrap mine up and I'm going to put it in the fridge. Do you like it? Isn't it pretty? It's kind of lopsided, but who cares? You're going to eat it. It's going to be so good. Thanks. Like and subscribe. Bye, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this cake. Pina Colada cake. It had to have the coconut because it's pina colada. Make this cake, see if you like it. Go when you're done with it, chill it for 2 hours, at least 2 hours. Chill it at least 2 hours before you serve it. It needs to be cold. Put it in the fridge. Those are my potatoes alarming again. Put it in the fridge when you're done with it. I wrap mine in a little bit of cling wrap across the top. The coconut does not stick to the cling wrap. Your Cool Whip may stick a little bit. Now, if you don't want to use coconut, put some fruit, some strawberries, whatever you want. More pineapple, whatever you like. Pineapple circles, slices, whatever. Thank y'all so much. Please like and subscribe. And I really appreciate you coming by today to learn how to make summer sweet desserts. And this is another one in our Sweet Summer series. Thank y'all for joining me. Bye-bye.